Okay, we're working on a 2000 Toyota Celica 1.8, I believe. Yeah, 1.8 liter. What was going on is my cousin brought it in and it didn't have no compression at all. I was led to believe that the VVC gear right there, that's the brand new one. Old one is over here. You can see the condition of it. It's got a lot of crusty oil buildup. And the thing about these is, I don't know if you can see those holes on the sides of it. This operates off of oil pressure. So if you're not changing your oil every, I'd say 3,000 miles, 3 to 4,000 miles, or the way it looks like when you check the dipstick. This car came in and it was just barely touching the tip of that little twist on the dipstick. Or no, you can see it right there. See that? That's how much oil it came in with. And it was super dirty. Get that back in there. It was super dirty, and you can see the condition of the head. It's got a lot of buildup on the inside. These engines are very, very delicate, especially when it comes to making sure this thing is full and with clean oil. After a while, if you see those little ports right there, that squirts into the shaft of the cam, and then the cam squirts it into that little hole over there. I don't know if you see it, of the timing VVC timing component. The other one is just a regular metal timing gear like this, so that's not really that big of a deal. But it's important to keep those little holes in there nice and clean, or else it'll start malfunctioning, misfiring, what else? Just acting weird. In particular, running rough at idle and okay at higher RPMs. Right now what we're going to do is perform what we call a leakdown test. I got a little compressor hooked up. I looked everywhere for a leakdown tester. Harbor Freight didn't carry it. Sears didn't carry it. And I'm thinking this is something you got to get on the Snap-on truck. I remember using one of these in school. I used one of these in the school when I was going to Bakersfield College. They introduced this tool to me, and I've been using it ever since. I just haven't had one of my own, so I built my own. What I did was I had one too many compression gauge testers, so I chopped one in half so that I can have this end that goes down into the cylinder and you screw it in. And what I did was go buy a air compressor fitting kit, and it came with a couple of fittings. One was this brass piece that goes into the hose itself, fits it perfectly, nice and snug, and then I just went ahead and added the clamp so it doesn't come off. Put some Teflon tape right here on the copper piece so I could screw on the female fitting, the female end fitting of the male, however you say it. Anyways, I used the other side where it was screwed in. I put Teflon tape so it's nice and snug and tight. And right now that I have the cams out, I made a condition on the engine where both valves are closed. Well, actually this got 4 valves per cylinder, so it's got 16 valves. So both valves are closed, exhaust and intake, and I removed all the spark plugs. Doesn't matter where the pistons are going to be because the pistons have rings and the rings are holding the compression. So right now what I created was took the camshafts. I removed intake and exhaust camshafts so that the valves are closed right now. And what I'm going to do is stick this tool into each hole and inject air in it and listen to see if I hear any coming out of the intake. And this is how you should set up the intake. I got a little valve stem remover. I got the head in there. Got for the throttle plate to stay open, I got it wedged in there a little bit. So you're going to listen through here. If there's any hissing in here, that means your intake valve is bent and it's not all the way pulled up. And as you see, I have nothing pushing down on the lifters. except for the lifters themselves being in there. It'll work just like that. And then you're gonna run across to the back. See that exhaust tip right there? If you hear any hissing coming out of that, then you know your exhaust valve is bent. So right now we're checking for bent exhaust valve, bent intake valve, cracked ring, or blown head gasket. And let's see, where's the radiator's kind of hidden from here. This says engine coolant, so maybe we can listen to it out of this. So remember, hissing in here, blown head gasket. Hissing out of there, bent intake valve. Hissing out of the tailpipe back there, bent exhaust valve. Or, let's see, we're going to hear hissing coming through the head area, and that'll tell you if it has a cracked ring. So let's go ahead and do this test and see what we got. Okay, I went ahead and tested it. I'm going to let you hear what I hear. The way it sounds, it's got like major engine damage. Where it's coming from. I can hear it through the oil galley. That's telling me something's wrong with either the piston or it's got cracked rings. I kind of hear it back here on the exhaust too. So we're going to have to send the head in to get it fixed. Something's wrong with the head. This is the tool that I've been looking for. Or I've been trying to build one so that we can get the results. If I'm having... The way it's set up right now, all the valves should be closed because I got the cams removed. The piston heads have the rings to hold compression, so there shouldn't, whether the cylinders are up or down with the cams out, I shouldn't get no air leaking out, but you can hear it just rushing out as fast as it's going in. So I'm going to do each one to see how bad each one of them is. So you heard the first one. Okay, now we're going to do the second one. I only got two hands trying to hold my phone and the... You hear how that sounds? You can feel pressure building up on that one. You don't hear it, it doesn't sound like the other one. So that cylinder's okay. That first one's bad. I'm gonna remove this. Put it in cylinder 3. But you did hear how it built up pressure because all these valves are shut. So now let's see what this one's going to be like. You hear how that one sounds? I am hearing a slight hissing on the intake on this one. So we know that you got intake problems on that side. Number 1 is paired with number 4, so we should probably have the same exact results as number 1 because these valves are open opposite, so I should get exhaust. Air coming out of the exhaust, so. Come on. See, I don't hear nothing coming out of that one. That damn compressor valve, let's see if it'll shut off. Let's disconnect it and then we'll do it again. So just to let you know, they all should be like this one. This one's nice and quiet. I mean, you can hear a little tiny bit of hissing, but that's normal because of the end gap on the piston rings. It's letting air through. Maybe we should have dropped some fluid down to create a hydraulic seal, but this is just to give you an idea on how to do it. I can tell the difference if the cylinder is good or bad. Number 4 is like the best one out of all of them. Number 4 is the best one out of all of them. Listen to it when I inject the air in there. Come on. Sorry for the image not holding up very well. Oh no, that one I do hear that. So it's got bent valves all over this head. Well, that's how you perform a leak down test. If you had the cams in it, what you would have to do is get each piston up to its power stroke on top dead center. Top dead center power stroke, not exhaust stroke. Because you want both sets of valves, these set and that set, closed on both sides. So now we know that the valves aren't closing, and that's why we have no compression at all. He came and brought it in. It sounded like the timing changes broke off, and all you hear is wee 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 wee, and it was spinning too fast. So I knew it had something to do with the timing, but the compression part, I couldn't figure it out if it was the VVC doing it or if it was the exhaust valves. So what I'm gonna do is research this engine and see if it's a valve interference engine. And if it is, I'm not really sure how he damaged all 4 cylinders. Never seen the VVC, malfunction where it damaged the compression on the engine. But obviously we can tell it did. So that's my video for this on how to do a leak down test on the 2000 Toyota Celica 1.8 liter. Now we got to go through it with a fine-tooth pick comb. Okay, thank you for watching.